Worry about it. He's very resilient and won't die. Since that's what people are saying, Perseus decided not to meddle. Obviously, I want to quickly raise our adventurer group's level. But you don't want anything except half the points. That's too strange, isn't it? Aesop frowned. Do you just want to be famous? Once our adventure level increases, we can freely accept high-level commissions, which is what I value. As for these petty gains right now, we can do without them. That's impressive. Aesop nodded. But what if I still don't believe it? I thought she was the kind of carefree, easygoing woman, but I didn't expect her to be so difficult to deal with. Perseus smiled. Then what would it take for you to believe me? A mysterious smile appeared on Aesop's handsome and dashing face, his eyes sharp as swords. It's very simple. Perseus waited quietly. As long as you date me, she shouted. Even Perseus fell silent, never expecting such a bizarre opponent to exist in this place. That's terrifying. A gust of wind swept in, and Winnie and Carol arrived simultaneously, standing on either side of Perseus, pointing and gesturing angrily at Aesop. You, how can you be so shameless? What nonsense are you spouting, little girl? He already has a girlfriend and a wife. Aesop glanced at the two men and sneered. Who are you to him? What right do you have to point fingers here? Winnie was stumped by the question and stammered, unable to speak. Her relationship with Perseus wasn't the kind she could talk about with everyone. Carol didn't want to speak at first, but she couldn't stand Aesop's provocative gaze. She steeled herself, and, disregarding the fact that they were meeting, grabbed Perseus's neck and glared at her. I'm his woman. Winnie was startled, her eyes filled with complex emotions. Aesop was slightly surprised and looked at Ivica, who remained unmoved in the distance. You're his woman, but what about her? Wife, Carol said. Aesop laughed and clapped his hands. Brilliant, brilliant. Alice looked at him with disdain. I have the utmost contempt for philandering men. Perseus shrugged, indicating his helplessness. Me too, Aesop said, but I'll forgive you as long as you date me. Carol was shocked. Why are you so persistent? Of course I like young men who are good-looking and can beat me, Aesop said sincerely. I originally wanted to date Lord Bayan, but he ignored me, so I'm still single. Alice pouted. With your personality, how could Lord Bayan possibly like you? What's wrong with my personality? Lots of people like me, okay. Yes, you beat up 100% of them. Who told them to be so weak? If they're so tough, they should beat me up. I promise I like whoever can beat me up. In short, you should give up on Lord Bayan. I'll say the same thing to you. I'm better than you. At least I like people who dare to say what they want. You just keep nagging me. What did you say? If you dare say that again, I'll teach your brother a lesson. What does it matter to me if you don't treat my brother? Fine, don't treat him then. Fine, I won't get treatment. The two girls started arguing, but in the end, it was the other person who got hurt. Being the team leader, Mario, isn't easy. Serves them right. Perseus happened to be very interested in the white flame they were talking about. I'm new here and don't know anything. What are the specific deeds of that white flame lord? He was asking Astrid. After spending time together, Perseus realized that of the 5 members of the Bloodfang adventurer group, 3 were not entirely mentally sound. Uncle Ken was taciturn, so the only person he could ask was Astrid. Astrid's expression was solemn. This is a question I could answer in 3 days and 3 nights. In short, you just need to remember that Lord White Flame is a legend, a living legend. Never try to be his enemy, and never. What do you not want? Astrid swallowed hard, looking very nervous. Don't mistake him for a woman just because he's beautiful. How beautiful? Perseus was genuinely curious. Astrid hesitated for a moment, then pointed to Winnie. Winnie was taken aback, then overjoyed, her face beaming with pride. She's 10,000 times prettier than her. Winnie's smug expression froze instantly. Carol tugged at Lapras's sleeve. Perseus followed her to a distance. What do you want to say? Perseus asked softly. Carol used to live in Eagle Peak City, so she should have met Bayan. Lady White Flame is really beautiful. Carol's eyes were strange. Then why are you looking at me like that? Perseus asked, puzzled. It's like I've seen a ghost out of nowhere. Because I suddenly remembered that Lady Bayan looks very similar to someone I've seen before, Carol said, then fell silent. At this point, there's really no need to listen any further. Perseus looked at Ivica. Could it be? That would be truly unbelievable. Chapter 140 is so similar. Given the resemblance to Ivica, if we exclude the extremely slim chance of a coincidence, Perseus could only guess that this white flame and Ivica were related by blood in some way. This touched upon his area of ignorance. Bai Yin was only mentioned once in the original work, as he was the strongest adventurer in the Empire. He was just a background character when he appeared later and never said a single line until the end. Perhaps this man is indeed a distant relative of Ivaisa, who is not mentioned in the original work. The Ephron family has thrived for thousands of years, and among its descendants are countless people with the same surname and those with different surnames. Many of them may not even know that they come from the famous Ephron family. The Dog Emperor only killed a small portion of them. In fact, if we're really talking about it, the Dog Emperor himself could be considered a descendant of the House of Ephron. There's only one possibility why Bai Yin, who is so famous, is still alive and well in the Empire. That means his kinship with Ivaisa was really, really distant, so distant that even the Dog Emperor couldn't find out. Therefore, it would be impossible to try to establish a kinship relationship with the other party. The kinship is so distant that the other party must not have benefited from the Ephron family. When they were successful, they didn't think of others, but now that they're down on their luck, they expect others to risk their lives for them. Only a fool would agree to that. Although you can't directly ask the other person for help, this person is still worth paying close attention to. White Flame is just a code name. Only he knows his real name. Don't tell anyone about this, Perseus said calmly to Carol. Yes, I know. Carol nodded seriously. Let's go back. Back where they started, Alice and Aesop's argument was over, and they ended up in a cold war, ignoring each other. Poor Mario. This group of people is really crazy. In this situation, it's impossible to have a serious conversation. Something came up, so let's talk again tonight at the bar where we just met. It's on me. The other party's reaction was indifferent. Hopefully, the other party will take his words seriously. If it doesn't work, just switch to another adventure group. Anyway, there are other 5-star adventure groups besides them. Perseus didn't waste any words and left with his men. Why did you leave so suddenly? Winnie asked curiously on the way back. There are more important things to do. Just be a good boy and do as I say. Oh, Winnie replied, unconcerned. As Perseus passed through the city gate, he found it chaotic. A large number of people stood at the city gate, yet the main road in the middle was cleared in an orderly manner. Regardless of age or gender, everyone was excited and looking in the same direction. Perseus's heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Really? A man rode out on a pure white horse, its color completely flawless, instantly igniting the excitement of everyone present. Some people were so excited that their legs were trembling, but they didn't say a word and no one shouted. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, the man rode past them expressionlessly, his gaze fixed straight ahead, seemingly oblivious to the people who were so fascinated by him. He, or she, but according to popular opinion, it should be him. Compared to handsome men like Jerome Andre, he was not tall. In fact, he could be described as somewhat petite. She is as petite as Ivaisa. His appearance was comparable to that of a legendary angel or fairy, far surpassing that of girls who were generally called beauties. She is as beautiful as Ivaisa. Her temperament was equally aloof and otherworldly. In short, he was practically Ivaisa. Aside from having an Adam's apple, her chest is relatively flat. The two look exactly alike. No wonder people often suspect he is a woman, because apart from a very few people, there is no woman in this world more qualified to be considered a woman than him. He is Bai Yin. He's currently ranked second on the leaderboard, but in terms of skill, he's not necessarily weaker than the first place. Compared to his awe-inspiring strength, his appearance had an even more powerful impact on the group. The moment they saw his face, not only he and Winnie, but even Ivaisa was stunned. She couldn't help but touch her face. It was wearing a mask, so it looked like someone else's face. But who doesn't know what they look like? Seeing that Winnie couldn't help but scream, Perseus quickly pinched her but hard, forcibly silencing her. But she still managed to make some noise. In the silence, apart from the sound of horses' hooves, her voice was particularly noticeable. Bai Yin glanced in this direction, his gaze sweeping across Perseus and the others without lingering. He quickly looked ahead again and then disappeared from everyone's sight. Only then did the crowd let out various sighs of satisfaction and begin their intense and excited conversations with their friends. Such charisma truly deserves this treatment. Let's go, Perseus said to the girls who were still somewhat dazed. Back home, without being asked, Winnie hurriedly closed the doors and windows, drew the curtains, and then stared intently at Perseus. Don't look at me. I just found out too, Perseus said. Winnie then mustered her courage and looked at Ivaisa. If I didn't know about your family situation, I would have thought he was your twin brother. Ivy ignored her, glanced at Perseus, and walked towards a room. Don't mention this to anyone, unless someone's got a death wish. Perseus's unprecedentedly direct threat was a genuine expression of his true feelings. Moreover, he truly does what he says. In the room, Ivisa removed the animal skin mask and examined her flawless face in the mirror. I don't have a twin brother, she said. I know, Perseus said as he approached. He sat beside her silently, watching her until she put away the mirror and put the mask back on. Does it really look that similar? Ivisa asked casually. My darling, you will always be unique in my heart. Perseus continued honestly, not just similar, but exactly the same. Ivisa was silent for a moment, then said, I can't believe such things still exist in this world. Yes, the world is full of wonders. Perseus quickly offered his guess. However, there's no need to be too surprised, because I suspect he's a distant relative of yours from several generations back. Relatives are much more likely to look alike than ordinary people. At least I didn't know I had such a relative. Ivisa thought about it seriously. That's normal. Your family has a long history. His branch of the family probably separated from you hundreds of years ago, and they probably don't even share your surname anymore. Ivisa nodded slightly. I want to talk to him and find out what's going on with him. Although he seems even more indifferent than you, I will try my best. Ivy looked at him coldly. Am I cold-hearted? Indifference is not necessarily a bad thing. I can be indifferent to people sometimes too. I also want to talk to him, she said. Perseus nodded and put his arm around her waist. No problem. As long as you don't like him, I'll definitely support you. You like him? Ivy frowned. Is my worry unnecessary? You saw the scene just now. Lord Bayin is a heartthrob. Everyone, young and old, loves him. Perseus smiled. Do you like yourself? Ivisa asked coldly. In fact, Perseus didn't finish his sentence. This person is definitely strange. We have to find out what his background is, or we won't be able to sleep soundly. So what do you plan to do? There's no solution yet. Ivisa was somewhat surprised. Really? You've always been full of clever ideas. There's really no way this time, Perseus said. This white flame is definitely at the 7th level, stronger than you. If I use the same moves I use on others on him, I'm afraid he'll slap me to death. You really do have self-awareness. This has always been one of my strengths. Ivisa rolled her eyes at him without any mercy. Get out. I'm feeling really confused and want to be alone. Do you need my help? Go out. Perseus sighed helplessly and left the room. He understood Ivisa's feelings. Anyone would be thrown into a state of panic and fear if a completely unrelated person, yet almost identical to themselves, appeared in front of them. It would be unreasonable for him to keep pestering me at a time like this. While Bayin could certainly kill him, Ivisa, who was twice as strong, could as well. Besides, he had something he needed to think about alone, so he went to an empty room that hadn't been furnished yet. The first thing to do is to gather as much information as possible about the white flame. Then try to get close to Bayin safely and build a good relationship with him. The first step is urgent, but the second step cannot be rushed. We must proceed slowly. Just then, Carol entered the room. There's no bed here, but if you don't mind the discomfort, I can make do, Perseus said with a smile. Carol was taken aback, then blushed and spat. I have something important to tell you, she said. It has nothing to do with Bayin, it's about... You want to know the plan to avenge you, don't you? Perseus understood immediately. Carol nodded nervously. You don't have to say if you don't want to. Although I'd like to know a little, I also understand that there are some things I can't know. Perseus beckoned her over. Carol was immediately embraced by him as soon as she arrived, and it felt quite nice. Carol lowered her head shyly. You seem to be getting more and more beautiful lately. Perseus's hands began to wander. Ugh, where is it? Carol was powerless to stop him, so she simply let him do as he pleased. How about you give me a few sons or daughters? Perseus found her shy expression amusing. Are you serious? Carol stared straight at him. Perseus slowly shifted his gaze. Let's make a plan first. These things can't be rushed. If you die in the future, it will definitely be because a woman killed you. Will you cut me? Let's see how you perform. Then I'll definitely do my best. Didn't you say there were no beds made up here? What are you trying to do? You. Chapter 141 Cooperation Achieved.